I've been reading a book about mobile technology. Mobile technology is becoming just an everyday part of our lives. And mobile technology is also, it seems, allowing things to be a part of our life even after we die. In the book that I'm reading on my mobile technology piece here, it says, after most people die and a few years pass, the world knows little about them except what their headstone looks like in the cemetery. But what if tombs could talk? What if people could walk up to your headstone, see you, and get to know you long after you've died? In fact, as the book says, you already can. You can have your grave tagged so that anyone can walk up to it and link it to a digital tombstone using a barcode or a GPS reading or even just a searchable name. So you could walk up to a tombstone with your smartphone and scan a barcode or connect to a digital tombstone that would have a message that you could leave as an epitaph long after you've died. It's a fascinating concept.
It sure appeals to our egos, I think, in a lot of ways, because we want to be remembered. We want people to think of our legacy that we leave behind,
Right.
and the idea that we could do it on a tombstone, I think, has a certain appeal to it.
It is. I mean, we've all walked through graveyards, especially old graveyards perhaps, and seen tombstones laying there that you can barely read the name and you don't know who they were, certainly anything about their life. Their descendants, whoever they may be, even in that same locale, wouldn't even know where to go to find their great-great-great-grandparent. And yet, again, there's this desire to be remembered once we die. And digitally now, this can be done. But it raises, I guess, a few questions as to really who does remember us and what is the value of our life while we are alive and what we do leave behind.
Will people really remember us? Even with digital memories that would be on a tombstone, someone would still have to be interested enough to find out about you. And really, probably in time, wouldn't it be similar to the way it is now? That people would, after a period of time, forget anyway. So who is going to remember us? And who is going to keep that legacy in mind? I think that's the most important question that we have to answer. And there is an interesting indication of that back in the book of Job. In Job 14, Job raised the question about that very legacy and who would remember. He says in verse 13 of chapter 14, "Oh, that you'd hide me in the grave." So he's talking about death and talking to God. He says that you would conceal me until your wrath is past. And then Job says something interesting. He says that you would appoint me a set time and remember me. And so Job looked to God and realized God's the one that will remember. He knows everything about us, and He's the one that will always have us in mind.
Which brings us to the point that we better be living for God and should be living to know and understand the true God today in our life and leaving a legacy with Him that He will remember. That's the most important one.
That is. That's BT Daily. We'll see you next time.